So a couple of days ago, I made a video saying that Genshin would not survive the new gacha era if it continued on the same path. And with the arrival of NodKrai, it goes without saying that Genshin has a lot to prove. Now, just a few hours ago, we got the 6.0 livestream, the NodKrai livestream. So the question is, did Genshin live up to expectations? Did it surprise us? Did it rise above what we thought? Or was it more of the same? That's exactly what we're diving into today. So if you enjoyed the kind of content, make sure to like the video and let me know what you think in the comments. What did you think of the livestream? Was it awesome? Was it insane? Or was it more of Genshin being Genshin? And of course, don't forget to subscribe and notification so on any of my future videos. Before we get into it, this video is sponsored by Top Up Live. Top Up Live is your go-to for resources in your favorite gacha games. Whether it's characters, weapons, currencies, whatever you need, Top Up Live has it and always at a discount. And right now, Augusta, yes, the F4 of Septimus herself, is finally here. And if you want to pull for her at a discount, or maybe you're saving up for Yuno, who drops right after Augusta, I highly recommend checking them out. And here's the best part. If you use my code TIVE, that is TIVE, you get an extra 12% off on top of their already discounted product. So spend wisely, don't overspend, and get what you need with Top Up Live. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring this video, and now let's get into it. NodKrai, the brand new region in Genshin Impact, looks absolutely gorgeous. It promises everything you'd expect with a major expansion. New exploration, new characters, new environments, new mechanics, and of course, a brand new story filled with crazy forces all around us. But here's the thing. All that is expected. That is the bare minimum for a new region. The real question is, does Genshin give us enough beyond that? When it comes to rewards, quality of life changes, and meeting the expectations of the players in this new gacha era, is Genshin really stepping up, or is it just giving us more of the same? To answer this, we're going to go through the entire live stream and split everything Genshin gives us into 3 categories. The first category is good to amazing. The stuff that makes you go, okay, W Genshin, you actually could here. The second category is bad, as in, we don't want this, we never asked for this. This feels more like something you did for yourself and not for the player base. And the third category is 5 years too late. The things that honestly should have been in the game ages ago. So when we finally get them now, it doesn't even feel like a win. Alright, with that in mind, let's dive in, starting with the first huge thing. The first part of the live stream was a long dive into NodKrai, the environments, the stories, the characters, but most importantly, the exploration. They showed us exactly how exploration would work in NodKrai, the movements, the interactions, all of it. But of course, if you want the best experience, you guessed it, you need to pull for a NodKrai character. Pull for Lauma and suddenly, exploration opens up in ways you just didn't get before. With Lauma, you can interact with animals in the regions. Some animals give you resources, some help you with mining, some even heal you. Basically, pulling for Lauma turns the region into a whole new gameplay layer. Without her, it's just the bare minimum experience. Alongside that, they also talk about the battle systems. We already know NodKrai characters bring a whole new reaction type to combat. And in NodKrai, that system is immensely improved. New mechanics, new battle interactions, everything is ramped up. But of course, you can only experience this if you pull for NodKrai characters. That's right, because if you don't, you're stuck with, well, whatever you're stuck with. It's really not Genshin's problem. This is exactly what people complain about in Natlan, and it seems like, as always, Genshin did not listen. So yes, the idea that you need NodKrai characters to get the full experience of NodKrai goes 100% in the bad category. The next thing we need to talk about is something called the Selene Chronicles. NodKrai is closely tied to the third Fatui Harbinger, Columbina, and it seems like there's a new system in place where she asks you for small favors, things like going for a stroll or simply sitting down to talk to her. And the more of these favors you complete, the more support she offers. Support that you can actually use in the open world. Now, this is a pretty interesting system because more than anything, it brings a new and refreshing feel to exploration. And unlike the first thing, this one doesn't seem to be gatekept. My only reservation is that we don't know what kind of buffs Columbina actually provides, or whether they will truly be useful in the open world. And knowing Genshin, I'm not holding my breath. But still, I'll put this one in the good section. It's a refreshing system that looks like it could enrich exploration in a really good way. After these major reviews, they also touched on small environmental changes. For instance, the Fatui Stronghold, where you now need to be careful while exploring because getting caught adds an extra layer of mechanics to make the experience more fun. They also updated the shop systems in NodKrai. One shop is even owned by Dori, where you can pick up equipment, which is fine. And on top of that, they added a new mode to the Imaginarium Theater. Now, personally, I don't play the Imaginarium Theater, but for everyone who does, this seems like a solid addition. So all of this, once again, go under the good section. Any change that elevates how we interact with the world and gives more life to it can't really be anything but good. The next thing they showed us was the Genius Invocation TC. Now we're moving straight into the quality of life section of the update, and honestly, every single one of these goes straight into the 5 years too late category. At this point, I don't think there is a single quality of life update they could add that wouldn't feel long overdue, no matter how good it is. I just can't see it as a win. But here's the insane part. Most of these so-called quality of life updates aren't even good. In fact, they're absolute dog shit. The first 4 they showed us, completely unimportant. These feel like changes that should have been slipped into the game quietly, as little surprises that we discover naturally. Instead, they went out of their way to present them as big quality of life updates, and that just makes them look even more pointless. So yes, the first 4 quality of life updates, absolutely useless. Now, the next set of quality of life updates are slightly more useful. These actually feel like the important ones. But again, every single one of them comes way too late to be taken seriously, so I'll just run through them quickly. The first updates, you can now upgrade your treasure compass to locate every treasure chest, every oculi, and every clue in the entire region. And I say entire region very loosely because they didn't really say that it covers the entire region, but from the picture they showed us, it really feels like it affects the entire region. And if it does, it is pretty useful, but again, 5 years too late. At this point, it doesn't really feel like a win. The second update, you can open the lunar treasury to obtain dust of enlightenment. Now, how exactly you open it wasn't explained in the stream, and honestly, even if it was, this still doesn't sound particularly interesting. Third update, you can now preview the 4th substat of a 5-star artifact after unlocking the first 3. And of all updates, I would say that this one feels like the best, but even then, it's kind of scummy, because by the time you've unlocked the first 3 substats, you've already decided whether the artifact is worth keeping or not. So in reality, it doesn't really add much. And then the 4th update, they optimize the methods of claiming bonus rewards, and that's it. Nothing interesting here either. So yeah, all of these fall straight into the 5 years too late section. And while the third update looks like the best, the truth is, it only seems that way because the others are so underwhelming. The next so-called update is just flat out bad. Starting with the next version, during the first week after a new 5-star event which goes live, all talents and weapon ascension materials will have their restriction lifted. And that sounds nice, right? But here's the catch. This only lasts for the first week. After that, everything goes straight back into the same old Genshin grind, which really begs the question, why not make it permanently open? Who knows? Who can understand Dao's ways? Maybe he needs the extra money for a new yacht. Who can say? The next so-called update is absolutely laughable. In fact, it is too insane to even be called an update. It is called the Masterless Stellar Fortuna. And here's how it works. If you already have a C6 5-star character and pull for another copy, that duplicate is converted into a Masterless Stellar Fortune. This item lets you push a character beyond level 90 to level 95 and eventually to level 100 with more copies. Now, the one good thing is that starting from the next update, the game will automatically calculate every 5-star constellation you have ever pulled above C6 and convert them into Stellar Fortunas. And on paper, that sounds generous, but here's the problem. How many free-to-plays even have a single C6 5-star character? And how many of them have copies beyond C6? Almost no one. This entire system is designed strictly for whales. So just like the Stygian Onslaught, this is completely and utterly useless for free-to-play players, and yet they hyped it up like a major update. Now, unlike the last improvements, the next one is actually pretty solid. It is called To Temper Thyself and Journey Far. If you complete daily commissions and spend resins at least 5 days a week across 12 weeks, basically 2 versions, you'll be able to claim a free 5-star character along with other rewards. And this isn't a one-time deal, it refreshes up to 4 times. That means in a single year, you could get up to 4 free limited 5 stars. And this one is absolutely going into the good section. It is rare for any gacha game to hand out 5 stars at this level. And the fact that Genshin is doing it is actually insane. So credit where credit is due, this is phenomenal. Sure, it basically requires you to play the game consistently every day for 12 weeks. But if the reward is a free limited 5-star character, I'd say it is worth it. The next and final major implementation in Genshin Impact is the UGC system. And honestly, this one is absolutely phenomenal. The UGC has been teased for months, but what we're getting now is above and beyond anything I imagined. The idea is simple. You can create your own events, literally any kind of event you want. It gives you a sandbox where your only limitation is your imagination. And if it's truly as broad and thorough as what they explained, and as what I'm seeing on the screen right now, this might not only be the single best implementation in Genshin, but one of the best implementations in gacha, period. It's good for content creators, it's good for players, it is good for everyone. So yes, this one goes straight into the good section. I honestly did not expect Genshin to pull off something this thorough. So what's my take on the live stream as a whole? Well, it's decent. As expected, the things I never thought Genshin would fix, they didn't fix. You still need NodKrai characters to make NodKrai work. Every so-called quality of life update, either too little, too late, or just plain useless. They gave us changes that benefited one side of the player base while being irrelevant or even detrimental to the other. There is still no skip button, and the worst part, the devs tried to dress these up as if they were phenomenal updates, when in reality, they were things we either expected years ago or didn't need at all. But I cannot deny the insane goods. 4 free 5 stars across the year is huge, something I genuinely wish other gachas would do. And the UGC PC, that is another insane good, maybe even revolutionary for the genre. The big question is, are these few standout wins enough to outweigh all the bad? Personally, I don't think so, but we'll only know once we actually get our hands on the updates. Now, the floor is yours. Was the live stream awesome? Was it terrible? Did you care at all? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.